Again, today we're taking a look at the prophecy of Jacob and his deathbed declaration of what would happen with his 12 sons. And it's an incredible prophecy. And yesterday we looked at the first six. We looked at Reuben, we looked at Simeon and Levi, we looked at Judah, we looked at Zebulun, and we looked at Issachar. And today we're going to look at Dan. In verse 16, Dan is going to judge his people. He's going to be like a snake in a path that causes a rider to fall off his horse. And we look at verse 19. We look at Gad and the fact that he is going to be raided and raid others. We looked at Asher and the influence and of affluence that he will have and the royalty that will come from Asher. And then we looked at Naphtali, who is like a doe loose with beautiful words. I don't know if you've ever watched deer, but a doe can sure prance around and look quite beautiful. As a matter of fact, we had one out our kitchen window the other day. I might just show you a picture of that beautiful deer, as well as the tribes as they occupy the land. And then finally, Joseph. We looked at Joseph being the fruitful bow, that he was attacked on a regular basis, but he stood strong because of God. And he was a shepherd, the stone of Israel. Remember, we kept saying that Joseph was 20% of the book of Genesis, and therefore had many things that made him like Christ in typography, easy for me to say, typography, typology is what I'm looking for, that's it. And the typology here, of course, is the shepherd, the stone of Israel, and blessings foretold and given by God. And Jacob says, even more than my fathers. And then the final one is Benjamin. Benjamin is a ravenous wolf, but he divides the spoil. And those are the 12 tribes of Israel. And we're going to take a look, as you're going to be looking at other books in the future, you're going to see all of these prophecies about the sons foretold. But first, let's take a look at exactly how these 12 sons of Jacob occupied the land that was promised by God. And then we'll take a look at some applications. So let's take a look at the chart of how these fellows occupied the land. Now remember, Reuben, even though he was firstborn, would never reach his full potential. You'll notice he didn't really go into the promised land. He settled for land on the on the east side of the Dead Sea. And you remember Dan was going to be on the coastal area, and you can see him as well there. You may want to look this chart over. You can actually stop this video and look this chart over and remember my previous comments about each of the sons. But you'll see that Judah, of course, is going to be preeminent. And we know also that there is certain elements of invasions and fighting that were covered in these prophecies. So you may want to study this chart before we close out today. You might say, where's Joseph in this particular chart? And you'll notice that Joseph is represented by his two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh. You'll see there in the orange kind of top center. Now the application is very, very clear here, because these are prophetic words of Jacob on his deathbed about his 12 sons. these prophecies fulfilled in a short term with the development and settlement of the promised land. And what we need to apply it to today is that God has made a prophecy to us through the book of Revelation. And just as surely as he brought about the things that he said about his sons, God will bring about what he said in the book of Revelation. And that should bring fear and trembling for those that have never accepted Christ as Savior, and should bring great peace and joy to those who have already trusted in him and are just waiting for his return. And that's my thought for the day. God bless you and have a great day.